So I recently saw the movie It, and I didn't expect it to be that good because one, I've never read the book, and two, I've never watched the old one.
Kiss me, fat boy!
So I was pretty surprised when I found out it wasn't just your average horror movie. But why is that? Well, it's because of a lot of reasons that we will get into, but the main reason is that it was written by Stephen King. People call Stephen King the master of horror for a reason. I mean, he's got The Shining, It, Carrie, Pet Sematary, Secret Window. I mean, he clearly loves horror the most, but he also did Shawshank, so you know he can do some award-winning stuff as well. I mean, that's what rated the greatest movie of all time. So I should have known it was going to be good, which it was. But what does King do that makes it so good? Well, he makes it about more than just a clown going around and killing people. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does complete the horror checklist. You've got creepy shots of the killer, at least a few deaths on screen, and some jump scares.
The clown. Yeah, I saw him too.
So it is 100% a horror film, but it goes deeper than that. The story focuses on the kids and lets you into their backstory. You find out things about their life and what they're most scared of. Now, while Pennywise the Clown is a scary killer dude, he also acts as all the children's worst fears. I mean, like literally, he turns into what they're most scared of and chases them around. But it is teaching the kids lessons, like to face their fears and take matters into their own hands. It's quite an extreme lesson because if they mess up, they kind of die. But that's Stephen King for you. I think the town of Derry and the whole mythology behind it is another thing that sparks people's interest for the story. The fact that he comes back every 30 years and kills people in different ways, like you got the Easter explosion and now the missing kids. It makes the clown so mysterious and you just want to know more about it. Whereas most horror movies these days just have some shitty ghost or like a serial killer with no story. Or if they do have some background, it's been done 1,000 times. While A Killer Clown doesn't seem very original, Stephen King makes up for it with an interesting everything else. Just talking about the 2017 movie itself, I think that it actually lived up to the hype, which is a hard thing to do these days. But no one can deny it's a very well made film. It just looked great, with the vibrant colours, you know, the bright oranges and reds, and it had great locations with the town of Derry and the forest scenes as well. The characters were all pretty good and were likeable, so we actually cared what happened to them. That's some of the stuff that makes it so good. There's just more going on beneath the surface. But if we're talking horror, Stephen King's crowning achievement in my opinion, but I think a lot of people would agree, The Shining is more than one of Stephen King's best. It's one of horror's best. I mean, if I was rating horror movies, the only thing I might just put ahead of The Shining is Silence of the Lambs. Maybe. Though I'm still not sure because The Shining has it all. It's the mother of all haunted house movies. But just like in It, Stephen King makes it so much more. It focuses a lot on the descent of Jack Torrance into madness, which itself isn't a very original idea. Someone going insane and killing their whole family isn't exactly new to horror, but The Shining is the golden example of it, and other things in the movie go along with it so well that it all ends up being a masterpiece of suspense, twists, and really fucking scary shit. I'll try to explain what some of those things are. The slow descent. The pace of the entire film is very slow. Things never really just jump out to scare the shit out of you. More and more things start to happen gradually. And if one of the characters sees something, they don't instantly go running to tell someone, because they're really not even sure if they actually saw it. and this same slow pace is applied to Jack's descent into madness. It's never one major thing that sets him off, and you're never sure if he has gone insane already or not. There's the bar scene, for example, where he's seeing and talking to people that aren't there.
Away, but now I'm back.
Good evening, Mr. Torrance. It's good to see you.
It's good to be back, Lloyd.
So he is going out of his mind, but at that stage, he isn't violent yet, and his family is only suspicious of him. Eerie quietness. I think the eerie quietness in this movie is mostly a Kubrick thing.
Drellin, are you scared of this place?
No. Scared nothing.
Just one of the things he does which makes us all love his movies, and we don't really know why. The fact that this movie pulls this off so well is one of the reasons it's so great. Like when someone is walking in a huge room and all you can hear is their footsteps. Or when someone is talking and their voice is echoing and being drowned out by the emptiness.
My goddamn soul. Just a glass of beer.
It all adds to the insanely awesome atmosphere this movie creates. Weird horror. This one is hard to explain, but King really knew what he was doing with this story. The weird horror is the horror scenes that just don't seem to have cliches, or we don't expect them or even understand them. It's not a killer standing in a door or a ghost coming at you. The fact that we don't really know what to make of them, I think, makes it scarier. It's the blood coming from the elevators for no apparent reason. The old woman in the bath, the fucking animals in the room. The kid riding around the halls is just imprinted in my mind. I can just imagine the sound of the wheels going on and off the wood floor. Iconic moments. Of any horror movie, The Shining has got to have the best and probably the most iconic moments.
Here's Johnny!
That one's got to be the main one. But then you've got Red Rum, the girls in the hallway, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, the maze, the staircase.
Give me the bat.
There's so many moments that just stick in your head, and while to some they might seem cheesy now, but they were so interesting and original that they have been copied and eventually transformed into things we see in horror films today. I could probably keep going about why The Shining is one of the greatest horror movies, and just movies in general ever made, because there's so many things that just make it good, similar to it. Stephen King knows how to create a story that's complex and interesting, with heaps of different things that tie together.